click on create, and then you will be in, and you're given a cat to start with. I'm going to add a painter sprite here, and I'm going to make it a circle, but better to convert to bitmap first and then make a circle. You can change the color here if you wish. I'm going to make it a Pacman-y style color, and I'm going to make it shape here. If you want to make a perfect circle, hold shift down, and that keeps the circle perfect. Don't worry how big it is over here, but do worry about getting that cross on the center of the costume. That will really help. If at any point anything goes wrong, the best thing to do is just undo using the back arrow. Otherwise you'll have to delete or rub out or do something. Now I want to duplicate this costume to make a costume with the mouth cut out. Here I do right click, duplicate, and then in the second costume I'm just going to choose the eraser. This only works in bitmap mode, but I've chosen that. This is going to be quite a big eraser, so you could just drop that down maybe to 20 or similar size. I'm going to pick roughly from the middle and then go up there, and then from the middle down there. And then you can either rub that out or just use the fill tool. If you're using the fill tool, I want to fill with no colour at all. That is this line through, which indicates transparency. That will allow me to make that transparent. This grey and white checks is all transparent. Now these two costumes I want to switch between, so I go into the code area and I want to change the looks. Looks is where costumes is, and I want the next costume. There I can see it changing when I click, but of course I want that to happen as the game's running. So the event I want is when the green flag clicked, but I don't want to keep clicking the green flag, so let's make it work forever. Forever next costume. Keep testing. That's much too quick. I'm going to get a wait in there. So in control, wait a second. See what that looks like. That's too slow really. Maybe wait a fraction of a second. Okay, that's about right. Now let's tidy this up. I don't want that cat, so I'm going to click on the rubbish bin. And I want this to be 50% of the size. Maybe even smaller, 25%. Now I've got my little Pacman character. I can't move him though, so I'm going to get some when key pressed. Let's start with the right arrow and let's make him move. And right arrow key, he moves. But if I then do another key, it's always going to move to the right. So for each direction, I'm going to get him to point in that direction first. 90 for right. Let's right click or control click, duplicate. Left arrow, that should be minus 90. Let's just test those. Left, right, okay, seems to be working. And then do up and down as well. Okay, good. That seems to be working. Now I just need a maze to interact with. I'm not actually going to use the stage at all. Note that if you click on the stage, you just get backdrops, you don't get any motion. I'm going to do everything in sprites for this project. And I'm going to paint a new sprite for the maze. This should work okay in vector mode, so I'm just going to stick and I'm just going to choose, yeah, let's just have a black outline and let's make a big border for the maze. And then I'm going to do some simple lines. Now again, to keep the line perfectly straight, I'm going to hold shift. It goes to 45 degrees or perpendicular to the sides. Just put a few lines in here. I keep holding shift down maybe do like oh, that wasn't very good. Just undo. Maybe make that a bit longer. Oh, hang on. Let's just undo that. Do that again. Do that. Oh, that'll do. Then I'm just going to complete my maze. And I want to flip that the other way, so I'm going to go flip horizontal and then carefully drag that into place. Because there's no fill in there, I have to click on the edge to move it. Use backspace to delete it. If you accidentally delete it, just undo. Okay, that'll do for my maze for now. And then let's look. It's not quite evened out on the stage there, so I'm just going to drag it into position. Okay, now my character moves, but it moves through the maze at the moment. So let's just sort that out and change my code for its movement. And it's going to move 10 steps, except when it hits the if touching. So I need control if sensing or touching. Yeah, let's try colour, or I could use sprite 1. Let's just use colour black. Now I'm going to pick that precise colour black. This is pure black, but maybe you've used a different colour. Don't guess it. Use the pipette eyedropper to select it for sure. If touching black, then I'm going to turn in the other direction 180 degrees, and in the other direction I'm going to move 10 steps. Now that should cancel out, so let's just check it with the right arrow. Okay, seems to work. Let me then duplicate that bit and add it on to every single movement block. It's a bit stuck there. I'm going to make him even smaller. Okay, that's good. He's not stuck in that little narrow alley. Okay, this is quite good. Fine. Happy with that. Now, I need to make food. Make one bit of food first. I'm going to paint. I'm just going to use a dot for this. My food is simply going to be, I've got no, it's going to be a circle. I forgot to do a fill on it, so I'm going to do a fill after the event. It's going to be a red dot. Always, if you can't move your shapes, your vector shapes, just select them using the select tool. And I'm going to stick that on the middle as well. It's going to help me out. This looks really big. Again, I'm going to make that 15%. Oh, that's too microscopic. Maybe 25%. Okay, that's fine. Make one and code it first, because then you can duplicate the sprite with its code. So, this is the code I want. So, I want the food. If it's touching Pacman, I want it to hide. So, forever, if touching Pacman, so let's go to sensing. If touching I've called it sprite 2, you can rename them actually here, it might be a better idea. So from the start of the game, in events, from the start of the game, if touching sprite 2, so I'm coding the food, if touching sprite 2, hide. There we go, just hides. Let's check that works. Ah, now what's happened here is it's got a black background. There might be a problem if it's got a black outline because I've coded my character to bounce off black outlines. So I'm going to choose a not a black outline. I'd probably best just fill that outline. That's one way of doing it. There you go. Right. Now, the problem is, if you make your food hide, at the beginning of the game, you need to make it show again. So at the beginning of the game, let's show. Let's try that again. Okay, now it hides. All right. Show at the beginning of the game. And I want to score. So I'm going to go to a variable, and I'm going to create a variable, and I'm going to call it score. A variable is a way of remembering a value as the game progresses. There it is. Score is written there. And at the beginning of the game, I want the score to be 0. Do set it to 0. So when the flag clicked, set score. Set score to 0. And if touching the Pacman character, change score. Make sure it says score by 1 and hide. Okay, let's see if that works. Okay, seems to work in testing. I've got a score of 1 and the food has disappeared. Now is your chance to duplicate the food. So, the best thing to do is duplicate it here. Okay, that'll do for testing purposes. And it looks like I can eat all my food.